It is 3:17 in the morning. The world is silent. The city outside your window has finally shut down. The traffic has stopped. The neighbors are asleep. The chaos of the day has evaporated into the cool night air. But inside your head, it is loud. It is deafeningly loud. You are lying in bed, staring at the shadows dancing on the ceiling, and your heart is hammering against your ribs. Not out of fear, but out of discovery. Because 5 minutes ago, you were trying to sleep. And then it happened. A spark, a flash, a collision of two unrelated thoughts that suddenly birthed a child of pure genius. I shouldn't just read history, you think. I should start a podcast that retells history from the perspective of the villains. The idea rushes through your veins like liquid gold. It feels real. It feels inevitable. In this moment, lying in the dark, you aren't just a person with a day job you tolerate. You are a creator, a visionary. You can see the logo. You can hear the intro music. You can see the millions of downloads. The dopamine hit is so potent, it's almost physical. It pulls you out of bed like a puppet on strings. You open your laptop. The screen glows. Tab 1, how to record high-quality audio. Tab 2, villains of the 19th century. Tab 3, best USB microphones 2024. You feel powerful. You feel alive. But you are not looking at a blessing. You are staring into the eyes of a curse. Most people think procrastination is about laziness. They think unfinished projects are a sign of a lack of discipline. They are wrong. If you are an ENFP or an ENTP, if you lead with what Jung called extroverted intuition, your problem isn't that you lack energy. Your problem is that you have too much of it, and it is burning you alive from the inside out. You are not lazy. You are haunted. And tonight, we are going to name the ghosts that keep you awake. Let's talk about the first ghost. In Greek mythology, deep in the swamps of Lerna, lived the Hydra. We all know the monster. We know that if you cut off one head, two more grow back in its place. But have you ever really thought about what that means for your brain? The Hydra is the perfect metaphor for NE, extroverted intuition. NE is the function of what if. It is the function of possibilities. It doesn't care about what is. It only cares about what could be. Let's trace the life cycle of your typical project. It starts innocently. You decide to learn photography. That is the first head. You buy a camera. You feel good. You feel focused. You have slain the boredom. But the moment you take your first photo, the Hydra reacts. The wound splits. Your brain whispers, if we take photos, we need to travel. That is head number 1. And if we travel, we should start a travel blog. That is head number 2. But wait, the Hydra hisses. WordPress is too slow. We should learn to code our own website using Python. Head number 3. And if we learn Python, we could build an AI that auto-edits the photos. Head number 4. Suddenly, you aren't just learning photography anymore. You are simultaneously a travel agent, a writer, a programmer, and an AI researcher. The project hasn't just expanded, it has exploded. This is the explosion of scope. The tragedy of the NE user is that the initial idea, the seed, is never enough. The dopamine isn't in the doing, the dopamine is in the expanding. The moment you define a task, you limit it, and your brain hates limits. It wants the infinite, it wants the Hydra. So, 3 days later, the energy crashes. You look at the camera sitting on your desk. It doesn't look like a portal to a new world anymore. It just looks like plastic and glass. It looks like a chore. The Hydra has starved you by giving you too much to eat. You walk away, leaving the camera to gather dust next to the guitar you bought in 2019 and the sketchbook you bought in 2021. The swamp is quiet again, until the next idea comes. Before we meet the next god, if you've ever felt attacked by that Hydra, hit the subscribe button. We decode the psychology of creators every week, and you don't want to miss the solution to this curse. But perhaps your problem isn't just about expansion. Perhaps it is about boredom. If you are an ENTP, your story is the tragedy of Prometheus. Prometheus was the titan who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity. He was the original hacker, the original disruptor. He saw a system that was unfair, the gods hoarding the power, and he broke the rules to fix it. This is the ENTP spirit. You are addicted to the spark. The spark is that moment of problem solving where you figure out the hack, you find the loophole, you design the architecture, you prove the concept. But do you remember his punishment? Zeus chained him to a rock, and every day an eagle came to eat his liver. Every night the liver grew back, and every morning the eagle returned. Eternal, repetitive torture. For an ENTP, the eagle has a name. It is called implementation. It is the paperwork, the debugging, the formatting of the Excel sheet, the answering of the same email for the 50th time. The fire is the idea. The rock is the execution. You see, once you have solved the problem in your head, the project is effectively done for you. The thrill is gone, the fire has been delivered, but the world requires you to stay on the rock. The world requires you to finish the last 20% of the work, which takes 80% of the time. And because this feels like physical pain to your nervous system, you self-sabotage. You ghost the client. You delay the launch, not because you can't do it, but because your soul feels like it is being pecked out by the bird of monotony. You are a god of fire, trapped in a world of paperwork. Now let us turn the page. If Prometheus is the story of the intellect, this is the story of the heart. To the ENFPs listening, your ghost is Peter Pan. We romanticize Peter Pan. We think of him as the boy who wanted to have fun. But look closer. Peter Pan is a tragedy about the fear of loss. Peter lives in Neverland. Neverland is the realm of potential. As long as you stay in Neverland, you can be anything. You are undifferentiated. You are pure possibility. But to leave Neverland, to go back to London, means you have to grow up. And to an ENFP, growing up feels like a death sentence. Because to choose one path is to murder the 1,000 other lives you could have lived. If you choose to be a doctor, you kill the version of you that was an artist. If you choose to marry this person, you kill the version of you that travels the world solo. Every choice is a funeral for a possibility. So you hover, you stay at the window, you dabble, you start 100 things but finish none, because finishing feels like settling, and settling feels like becoming boring. You hoard your potential like a dragon hoards gold, terrified that if you spend it on one thing, you will have nothing left. But Peter, look at yourself. You are floating in the cold night air. You are free, yes, but you are also alone. And you are not building anything real. You are just watching. And then the crash comes. When the Hydra has exhausted you, when the eagle has eaten your liver, when Peter Pan is shivering in the cold, you fall into the grip. This is the shadow side of your personality, the inferior, introverted sensing. You meet Sisyphus. When an ENFP or ENTP burns out, they don't just get tired. They become obsessive. They become pedantic. They become hypochondriacs. You suddenly obsess over a mistake you made 5 years ago. You obsess over a pain in your side, convinced it is a terminal illness. You clean your room aggressively, yet feel like you have no control. The world loses its color. The what-ifs disappear. All that is left is the rock. The heavy, unmoving rock of your failures. You push it up, it rolls down. You feel like a fraud. You feel like a child who promised to build a castle but only managed to dig a hole. This is the bottom of the well, but it is also where the ladder begins. How do we break the curse? We look to Odysseus. Odysseus wanted to hear the sirens, the beautiful song of infinite ideas, but he knew that if he followed them, he would die. He didn't plug his ears. He didn't ignore his nature. He bound himself. You need a mast. You cannot rely on your willpower. Your willpower is fluid. It melts like wax. You need external, rigid structures that you cannot negotiate with. You need to design a life where you cannot quit. Number 1, the social rope. Don't just set a goal. Sell the ticket before you write the show. Promise the delivery before you start the work. Make the shame of quitting greater than the pain of working. Number 2, the body double. Never work alone on the boring stuff. Your brain needs a mirror. Get a partner. Sit in a coffee shop. Borrow the executive function of the person sitting next to you. Number 3, the artificial end. Kill the Hydra by starving it. Give yourself permission to have 100 ideas, but only permission to build one box to put them in. Listen to me. The world doesn't need your potential. The graveyard is full of potential. The world needs your work. It needs the ugly, finished, imperfect version of your idea, not the perfect ghost in your head. Tie yourself to the mast. Scream if you have to. Struggle against the boredom, but let the ship move forward, because the only thing better than the thrill of starting is the pride of finishing. Now, if you want to know exactly how to use the Odysseus strategy in your daily Notion or calendar, check out this deep dive video right here. And don't forget to drop a comment. Are you a Prometheus or a Peter Pan? I read every single one. See you there.